It looks peaceful, but it's not. This is Survive, Escape from Atlantis, and it is potentially one of the best hexagonal tile-based games that Stronghold Games has ever put into the market, pretty much. And the reason for that is because of its encouragement of acting like a completely horrible person towards everybody around you, really. And for those who haven't played before, I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why you should consider picking it up, because it's usually not that inexpensive. And secondly, it's usually getting the expansion is a pretty good idea with what you can see here, because I've got some dolphins here and I've got some dice, which is kind of cool. But how do you play? And why is it so nasty? Well, first of all, the island itself it's collapsing into the sea, so it's causing mass panic. And when you cause mass panic, then people generally are kind of every man for themselves, unless they're really, really helpful. As you can see, like these two people here, this person is generally trying to help this person that's fallen over. And Escape from Atlantis is all about the planning begins on it even before you've actually played the first move, because on each of your little people that you need to get to shore, they've all got a little number on them. This one has got a number 1, which means at the end of the game, and we'll get to the end of the game, once you get them to shore, they count towards your score. When you set up, once you've put them down, you're not allowed to look at your people again. So it's almost like you're planning. You don't necessarily want to put them in numerical order, because everybody else is probably keeping an eye on which ones you want to keep safe and which ones you don't keep safe. And it's not a game of casual eventually getting round to being nasty to somebody. You're encouraged to be nasty to these people from the off, from the very, very start. And the reason for that is you're restricted in the amount of moves that you can do. And then 2/3 of your moves is potentially about making life very, very difficult for everybody else that is involved. Look, I'm not the type of person who takes pleasure in other people's misfortunes. However, in this game, there's a lot of pleasure to be taken in people's kind of misfortunes. To be honest, it can be quite nasty. And the reason for that is, well, you know, I'm going to take my 3 moves. So I'm going to move my guy 1, 2. I'm on the boat. Now, I can hang around, but I control the boat. So I now move the boat. But I might want to move him there. But if I move him there when blue takes his go, it might be the case that he might jump on the boat as well, which means we both control the boat. So instead, what I do is I take my final move and I go here instead. Potentially close to a whale. Whales like to eat boats, but it's the risk I'm willing to take. So I can leave this guy on the shore by himself, having a little cry to himself as well. It's fantastic. My next turn, I've got to remove one of the island pieces. The island pieces themselves are kind of removed in an order. You've got your sandy beaches that have to go first of all. You've then got your slightly dodgy kind of forest. And then finally, as you get through the game, you've got more and more kind of mountainous regions that you've got to get rid of. And you do it in that order. The best thing about it is, under each of these tiles, there's actually an action. In this case, there's a whale. So if I've got this thing, I would bring a whale out from the supply, dumping him in there, and put this away. This tile's gone forever. Whales like to eat boats. It could be even worse though. If I'm currently not speaking to blue, I might decide just to tip them in the water. And that means that unlike when they're in a boat, they become a swimmer, which means they can only move one space. Unless they've got a friendly dolphin to protect them, they could be in trouble. And here we go, you're lucky. I've pulled this over, which means a dolphin does appear from the supply. So it's kind of interesting. It's pretty cool. As time goes on, things can get even worse. If you've got people in the water and you've moved things away, you might turn this over and discover, oh dear, you've got a whirlpool. Whirlpool destroys everything in the surrounding spaces before it disappears. It's utterly horrible. But on the other side of it, as things go away, you see allegiances maybe form. Oh, don't eat me. Maybe I won't eat you. Maybe we're in the boat together. Maybe we're going to go a certain place. Or maybe I've decided that actually this blue guy, he's a 3. But my guy, that's a big 6. I want to protect him at all odds. If they guess that and they decide, well, I'm going to bring a whale in and the whale's going to eat the boat. These 2 people are left to swimming away. And then I just need to get lucky on the dice. And if I roll, for instance, a shark, and that shark is moving, say, 3 spaces, it's going to come straight up there. Okay, I'm going to eat both people in the spaces here. But at least that person's lost his 6 points. And so on and so forth. In fact, the game keeps going. You keep removing bits of island. You keep basically being nasty to everybody else in the game until you get around to the very, very last tile. And there's usually quite a lot of these, but the only reason I picked this out is because this is the last one that you pick, and this means that the game is absolutely finished. Anybody that isn't managed to reach the destination of the beaches, they're dead. They're wiped out. They're gone. They're sunk. Everything is gone. And at the end of it, you count up your points. If you're lucky, you've got yourself a 6, a 1, and a 1. I've only got 8 points. However, the blue guy, they might have managed to save just one more person. But instead of that, they've got a 6, a 1, and a 4, and a 2. Which means they've won. Which means all your cruelty, all your planning, all your horribleness, all your vitriol, all your bile was for absolutely nothing. All because this person managed to get an extra 2 and a 4. And that's why when it comes down to it, the games can get really, really close. It can only be a couple of points between what wins, what loses, and what makes people happy and makes people incredibly sad. And also, because the board's quite light, it's incredibly easy to flip it, have a big fuss, and know that these pieces are mostly kind of solid wood and solid plastic, and the worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to drop on the floor. You're not necessarily breaking any really delicate miniatures. So if you want to have a real huff over a game, if you want to get annoyed and angry at a game, then I would suggest that this is pretty much the perfect game to be annoyed at. But buy it though, because it's absolutely good fun, and it's definitely worth more than a sideways glance. Yeah, that's Survive, Escape from Atlantis, and take a dive, take a deep dive. Remember, stay safe, roll 6s, and until the next time, goodbye.